Ball camera 1.
Quick slant out. And another incomplete pass intended there to number 2, Jake Kenner.
Yeah. If you're the Eagles, you have to get up on this defensive play and force the quarterback to make an error.
Excellent. You got the ball in. Nicely done. 3-3. Go to 3.
By Bell. Bell breaks 2 tackles.
It's all you 3.
Bell's
Nicely
out.
done.
Oh, he should have stayed
Stay
up.
there.
Flag.
Keep falling them back 3.
Hello and welcome to Roush Stadium in Kettering, Ohio for tonight's MVCC Game of the Week for week number 8. Jared Bergstrom and Jeff Allen bringing you tonight's call as a G-Walk American showdown between the 2-5 Wayne Warriors are set to take on the 2-5 Fairmont Firebirds. Jeff, quick recap of what happened last week for the Warriors.
Well, Jared, last week the Warriors played the Beaver Creek Beavers, and Wayne had it won from the beginning, jumping out to a 35-7 lead at the half and cruised to a 63-20 victory. Junior quarterback Cam Fancher was 10 of 10 for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns, along with 4 rushes and 85 yards and a touchdown. Junior Austin Mullins, his key wide receiver all season, hauled in 7 receptions for a whopping 224 yards and 2 touchdowns. What a stat line. And Jared, what happened to the Fairmont Firebirds last week?
Well, just to say, it's probably the best game the Firebirds have had under Dave Miller since he took over 4 seasons ago. For the first time in 21 seasons, they beat the Centerville Elks 28-20, and sophomore quarterback Malik Hillen was 4 for 4 for 115 yards and a touchdown, and also added 79 rushing yards and 2 scores on the ground. The Firebirds jumped out to a 21-10 halftime and held on and survived a late surge by the Elks, and like you see there, won 28-20. Jeff, why don't we go ahead and introduce Wayne's first-year head coach, Roosevelt Mukes.
Well, as you just said, Jared, he is a first-year head coach, but not only that, it is his first head coaching job ever. They must really trust this guy with their system. It's his first season as the Warriors head coach, as you just said, 22-year assistant coach for the Warriors, and also a 1985 Wayne High School graduate. His son also plays on the team as a slot receiver. Jared, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Firebirds head coach Dave Miller?
Miller has been at the helm this is going into his 4th season as the Firebirds head coach. He was Covington's head coach from 2007 to 2015 and a former Twin Valley South head coach. He was the 2017 OHSAA Division I Coach of the Year, the first year the Firebirds made the playoffs under him, and he has an overall record of 142-67. And Jeff, what does the Warriors have to put together to try and get a victory tonight?
Well, if we're talking about the Wayne offensive side of the ball, Jared, the first key to their success is going to be utilizing their screenplays to maximum execution. They always have athleticism oozing from their roster, and screenplays are going to be key as they can test this Fairmont secondary to the fullest and hopefully get some mismatches out there. And another key to their offense is going to be spreading the Firebirds out. They have a very tough front 7, so if Wayne can find more success than Centerville did, opening up this Fairmont's D and trying to create huge breakaway plays as they have the edge in athleticism, another huge key to this game is establishing a successful ground game early. This allows the other 2 keys to fall in place, Jared. All-conference running back Devin Nelson is back, and we'll also see sophomore Tyler Dorsey fill in for him. At certain points in the game, he's carried the load so far, while Nelson was out averaging 7.7 yards a carry, but it will be a true test for both of them as Fairmont ranks 3rd in rushing defense. And now we go to the defensive side of the ball for Wayne. And Jared, I told you while discussing the notes of the game, they have to get big, multiple exclamation marks. Something Centerville did not have the most success with is trying to stifle that disciplined offensive line of Fairmont. If Wayne wants to overcome Miller's triple option, they have to win most of the little battles in the trenches. And they're also going to have to be bigger or more aggressive as they're ranked 8th in GWalk in rushing defense. And the second key to the game for Wayne's defense has to be get stops on first down. You really are able to stout this triple option that runs off of first downs.
Right.
And the Firebird offense isn't capable to consistently handle 3rd and longs. We've seen it many times this year, years before, Jared. That system just isn't really built to handle that kind of stuff. Last but not least, They have to be ultra alert for the pass. That has literally won Fairmont the last 2 games. As difficult as it might seem, Jared, Wayne has to be ready for a pass every single play. Hillian has shown you cannot sleep on his arm. And Jared, what about Fairmont Firebirds? What are their keys to get the victory tonight?
First, for the Fairmont Firebirds, you have to control the line of scrimmage. You talked about Wayne having to stop the first downs. That's what Fairmont thrives on. If you can get 4, 5, 6 yards on their first down runs, Fairmont considers that a win, and they'd almost go for sure golden opportunities to go for it on 4th down if they get to that far in it. Other than that one, you got to sprinkle in the trick plays. We saw it a few times last week and a couple times against Miamisburg. The trick plays are the passes for the Firebirds, something that they don't really do much, but Hillen, the quarterback, 6 for 6 the last 2 weeks with 3 passing touchdowns, so it could be something that we have to watch out for tonight. And finally, offensively, Tank has to battle through the trenches. Running back Tank Gant I think he's going to finally get a workload tonight. You saw him fumble it a few times against the Vikings. Didn't really have that many carries last week to prove it, so I think tonight he's going to have to battle in the trenches of the offensive defensive line to try and help the Firebirds to victory. For defense for the Firebirds, you have to keep using that delayed blitz. It stifled Elks sophomore quarterback Chase Harrison last week. Maybe you can try and stop Fancher tonight for the Warriors, but Firebirds were timing that perfectly all night last week, and it just messed up the whole offensive line with blocking schemes and all that. Keep the linebackers out of one-on-one situations. We talked about it before we came on air. Trey Baker is the best linebacker in G-Walk within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. If you get him outside of that and put him in a one-on-one situation, maybe against Austin Mullins or something, Austin Mullins is going to have the speed and get away from him. And finally, Baker's dozen. I looked at it and did the stats. Both Trey and Garrett Baker have been on the field for 4 years now apiece. When they average 13 or more tackles together, the Firebirds are 15-8. So if Fairmont wants to try and win defensively, they have to at least get their tackles in. And Jeff, who's a player to watch out tonight for the field or on the field for you?
Well, I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball for both teams, Jared. And for the Wayne Warriors, I'm going to go Gerard Couch, a name that is not really brought up amongst the common football fans. But Couch has been an extremely important part of this Wayne defense that has struggled in almost every single game so far, especially against legitimate competition. So he has 64 tackles. There's been a couple games where he's notched double digits from the defensive line, is tied for 4th in sacks. I think he's going to be a huge difference maker, and especially against this triple option, well, he will be heavily involved in trying to get that push off the line. And for the Fairmont Firebirds, the last time we will call this guy's name, Trey Baker, player to watch for Fairmont. I say this name a lot, Jared. Everybody knows it, but sideline to sideline, one of the most impactful players in the entire conference. He got an interception last week, huge forced fumble, and he always seems to come up in the big moments, lacking a little bit of mobility, but we'll see how he goes against a really athletic Wayne Warriors team. And Jared, who are your players to watch for this Week 8 matchup?
First, for the Wayne Warriors, I'm going to take the quarterback Cam Fancher, nearly 1,600 passing yards on the season, 7 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So a little bit of turnover issue there, but that was in the earlier weeks against tougher competitors. 552 rushing yards with 6 TDs, but 3 fumbles. So maybe his rushes are going to be limited tonight, maybe design keepers for first down on 3rd and short situations, but he's fumbled it quite a few times running the ball, so I don't think and you can't give the Firebirds offense short field because they'll utilize that with their triple option. And for the Firebirds, I'm going to take the other quarterback on the other side of the field. I'm going to take Malik Hillen. He's 7 out of 13 passing on the year, 251 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he's 6 for 6 the last 2 weeks, and I think he's just going to be the deciding factor in the Firebirds, or as he controls the Firebirds line of scrimmage. I mean, we saw that last drive against the Vikings 2 weeks ago, just cutting him across with the triple option. He just reads it perfectly. He reads the defense perfectly, and he's only a sophomore, so we're definitely going to see him quite a few more years. Jeff, who are you going to pick tonight and why?
Well, Jared, I'm going to take the Fairmont Firebirds. They have completely flipped the script of their season the past 2 weeks, swinging momentum for the coaching staff, for the roster, for the programs in general. I think they're going to pull this one out. I don't think Wayne has the size to stop them, and I think it's going to be an intense game. They're really going to wear out their defense to the fullest. So either way, we're going to see what these teams are made of, Jared. And who is your pick?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the Fairmont Firebirds in this one as well. Fairmont's has a lot of momentum coming off a big rivalry win last week against the Elks. The Firebirds are firing on all cylinders, offense, defense, special teams. I think the Firebirds are probably going to win this one single-handedly. I'm probably a double-digit win, I'm going to call it here. So, looks like the band's getting ready to perform the national anthem, so we'll toss it down to there, and we'll be back for your Week 8 MVCC Game of the Week. go, just about ready for kickoff here in our MVCC Game of the Week for week number 8. Any final thoughts before we get started here, Jeff?
Well, it's going to be a rough one, Jared, but it will definitely be determined by the trenches, I think. Fairmont's offensive line versus Wayne's defensive line. I think that's where the key to the game really is. Got a beautiful frosty fall night here at Roush Stadium. And Wayne will try to beat its most successful opponent so far this year.
57 degrees here and not a cloud in the sky for mid-October Dayton football.
Jared, it's going to be a make or break game for Wayne's overall future, as a lot of their core talent are juniors, and so they've only won 2 games against below average opponents so far this year.
Yeah, I never would have thought, I mean, with a head coaching change, but I mean, the coach you brought in's been with the program for 22 years. Just kind of interesting to see how bad it's gone so far, but they've won 2 in a row coming into the night over the last 2 weeks, or they've won 2 out of 3 coming into the night over the last 2 weeks. So looking to get things going and stay in the positive direction here against the Firebirds tonight.
Number 16, Will Holt, kicking off.
You noted that kicking change last week at the Elks. They
Kukubi Toll is the guy who usually had it on kickoffs. He was a junior linebacker, but they switched to freshman kicker Will Holt, perhaps trying to put the future of their special teams in his hands. And you will see him kick off tonight. And they start the game with their rather trademark at this point, fake onside kick.
You can't ever rule out the fake, though, at the Fairmont Firebirds and Dave Miller on the sideline.
And you can bet the Warriors have studied that on film, but here we go. Week number 8 is on.
Holt boots it down, fielded at about the 5 by the Warriors, and he is out. He runs into his blocking line, and he's out to about the 30. I believe that was number 18, Austin Mullins.
Yes, that is their star receiver, Jared, but they have moved him to kick returning roles, as you can see. And that will bring out Cam Fancher. And we've had a lot of talk about him up to this game, Jared. And we'll see what the athletic junior can do tonight. Wayne comes out with 3 receivers, a tight end. I believe that is Dorsey lined up behind Fancher. That'll be something to note all night, as Nelson is back, but
you're going to see Adam Trick and Elijah Brown at the bottom of your screen here. Fancher's going to keep the handoff. Or no, he's going to fake it and give it off to, I believe that was Nelson.
Number 15, Tyler Dorsey. We talked about him in the pregame. He is a sophomore that came in, and 1 week he had 100 yards on 10 carries right when Nelson went out for 3 touchdowns. And since then, he's averaged 6.5 yards a carry. So he has carried the load for Nelson as he's been out.
And Wayne going up-tempo here, no huddle.
Fairmont already bringing the blitz.
And it is hauled in by
that was Mullins,
and he's going to be about a yard short of a first down, so it'll be 3rd and short. And Wayne quickly back up onto the line for this 3rd down opportunity here with just under a minute left or gone in the first quarter.
They definitely observed how Fairmont react to the up-tempo offense.
And Fairmont hits it in the backfield, read beautifully by the defensive line. And I believe the first one in there was number, if I can find the right roster, I think it was 52 for the Firebirds.
Brian Kendrick, the junior, and we'll see a replay right here. Come with a marvelous blitz. And that was the play before, but you see a great catch from Austin Mullins.
It was actually number 68, my correction.
Jack Roncalli.
And now on to punt are the Warriors after a loss of 2. And Baker is back deep to return this one for the Firebirds.
And you see, Jared, already how this game is going to be decided in the trenches. The offensive line of Wayne just slipped and let that delayed blitz that we talked about of Fairmont get right in there.
And Baker called for the fair catch at the 30, so Fairmont will have decent starting field position here as
was a
sophomore
pretty solid
quarterback
punt.
Malik Hillen is going to lead the team out on for their first offensive possession of the night. And I think you can take that. I mean, Wayne only had the ball for about a minute and 48 seconds. So Fairmont, now we can see the patented lullaby offense on this drive.
We'll see. Wayne will have to get big, Jared. You see 6 guys on the line right now, right in motion. And there
I
you see
believe Gant got the carry right up the middle for about a gain of 1, maybe 2.
the big tank Gant. It barely got multiple-digit carries last week, but tried to make the most out of all of them. But overall has been an animal this year, coming into this game with 500 total rushing yards, averaging just over 4 a carry with 1 touchdown. He has been the workhorse of this offense, Jared. You see them already bringing out Trevor True at the bottom of your screen to kind of spread out that defense for the triple option.
Play clock is under 10.
They have an I formation. Gant and Thompson ahead of Wright. Not a usual formation.
Hillen's going to hand it off to Gant again, and Gant powers through for a first down run out to the 45 for the Firebirds. And you see here in the MVCC Game of the Week replay, Gant just kept the legs moving. High stepped his way out of one. No, he just pushed him off.
Yeah, but you see, Jared, the key to that play is bringing down Thompson right behind Hillian, putting him into the tight end lead blocker, and he just cleared the way.
Tackle for the Warriors was number 32, Jaden Hurd. And something you don't really see much, Fairmont got up on the ball quickly there.
Came back quickly, but receiving very strategic directions. They have 2 receivers on the field in Trevor True and Nathan Long here. See what they're up to. Thompson on the other side motioning.
Hillen's going to pitch it to Wright, I believe. Wright will cut it out across the midfield, and he will be down to about the 46 of the Warriors.
And if you see on the replay, if this is any notion to see how the game is going, any premonition, then it is going to go really good for Dave Miller.
You saw in that replay, we'll look at it again here, Elijah Fleming, number 34 right there, hesitated just that second because you know when Hillen steps back like that, he has potential to throw it.
Yeah.
And just that hesitation had right enough room to get out to the outside for the pitch.
Very intricate play design, Jared. And you can see already that the Fairmont Firebirds have done their homework for this Friday night matchup.
2nd and 1 from the 46. It was a gain of 9 for Wright.
You see the same formation once again, and a Fairmont Firebird has jumped for the false start. I believe the right tackle there.
And that's something the Firebirds cannot have. You get 9 yards on first down, and then you're going to back yourself up 5. So it'll be 2nd and 6 for the Firebirds.
Yeah, and we talk about all the time how this Fairmont Firebirds offense is like chopping into a tree, Jared. You hack and you hack and you hack, and eventually it's going to fall over, and that's how they approach offense. Dave Miller likes to wear out the defense and run the clock a lot, and penalties really work against that strategy.
Hillen hands off to Gant, and he gets across the 50, but that's about it. So about a gain of 2 on the play. So it'll be 3rd and 4 here. Definitely in the realm of Firebirds plays for the pick at this one.
And you have to be a little irritated because of that 2nd and 1 opportunity. But at the same time, Jared, this is really approachable.
And you see, I don't know if you noticed, they brought out Trevor True, or they brought in Trevor True and took out Garrett Baker on this play.
Which is really unusual because most of the time they bring in the heavy tonnage, but you'll see that formation. We haven't seen a lot of that this year. You're seeing a lot of it tonight, though. Hillian is in front of Thompson, Gant, and Wright.
Right. We have not seen Wright in the backfield as much as we have so far tonight. And Hillen is going to pitch it to Wright. Wright has the edge to the outside. Wright's at the 30, the 20. Can he get it? He's at the 10,
Wright
5,
has
and
the Jets.
touchdown with a 49-yard touchdown run by Keon Wright to put the Firebirds up 6-0 early here.
And some more marvelous play calling by Dave Miller over there on the Fairmont Firebirds sideline. And the entire defense is trying to take down Tank Gant. What a play. You realize that Fairmont sets people up for these kinds of plays, Jared. They run a lot of the same types of plays to get certain concepts.
They draw
open.
them in. You run 2-3 plays up the middle on a draw. You draw the defense in, and you can pitch it out like he did there. Excellent pitch by Hillen.
And Jared, the last 3 weeks now, we have seen this young man grow up as a football player. Malik Hillian is the future of this Firebirds offense.
Extra point is good there by Will Holt, and the Firebirds lead 7-0 with 6:33 left in the first quarter in our MVCC Game of the Week for week number 8. And you see the offensive line coach there talking with number 65 for the Firebirds. That is Jacob Feltner. And the offensive line did their job right on that drive.
Yeah, that one false start, but other than that, everyone got their assignments. And a lot of the times what Dave Miller does is he puts an offensive lineman somewhere to draw in more defense, and that's something you saw on that big home run play just a few minutes ago. But how about Keon Wright, someone that we haven't talked about a lot, but had those 2 receiving touchdowns in Miamisburg. Last week was a big receiving option, and this week already has a huge touchdown, Jared. This young man is becoming quite the weapon for this Firebirds offense.
Right, five touchdowns over the last 3 weeks now, and we're only halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't think he had a touchdown last week, but he definitely had some big plays where he broke it open. But nonetheless, rushing and receiving, he is definitely an all-around threat.
Fairmont's going to come out in a different set for
kickoff.
They didn't do the surprise one, and now this one's fielded at about the 7 by the Warriors, and he powers through out to about the 27. I did not see who returned that. The number 7, maybe.
Number 2 is going to be Damian Bowles. You'll see him in a lot, not a lot this game. He hasn't been on a lot this year, but is more of like an elusive option for returns and the slot position. Damian Bowles more of a basketball transfer, but using him any way they can.
You're going to see Wayne come out with trips to the bottom.
4 receivers now for Fancher.
Fancher's going to look to the far side. It is hauled in by number 3, R.J. Mukes, it looked like.
And Jared, one of the keys to the game for the Wayne Warriors, I said, was spread out this defense, and you saw they did it there. Just a gaping hole right there for R.J. Mukes, the coach's son.
I think Fairmont's going to have to maybe alter this zone defense that they play against receivers and maybe have to come up and play man-on-man or hit someone at the line.
And you see it there once again, Jared.
Bowles hauls in, and that might be enough for a first down for the Warriors. But
talked about it a lot in pregame. They have a huge athleticism advantage almost all over the field.
But then again, I mean, if you can't afford to go 3 and out 2 or 3 times against the Firebirds, they won't let you have that many chances with the ball.
For sure, and your offensive lineman has to stand up. We'll see it here.
As number 10.
That's number 30, actually.
Or 30. Nelson gets the carry, and he'll lose a yard on the play.
And that's going to be big right now, Jared. The performance of Devin Nelson. He can very well be the difference of winning and losing this game. Was an all-conference back last year. Just over 1,000 yards and 18 rushing touchdowns.
3rd and 1 here from the 48. And you feel the home stands under us starting to vibrate as the Firebird home crowd is trying to pump this defense up for their second stop on 3rd down. Fancher changing the line at the play.
Bowles, Brown, Mukes, Mullins.
Low snap. Fancher's going to keep it roll to the right, and he's going to take it and roll back to the left. And
Evan Overholzer misses him.
And Fancher
he's going. He's rushing.
Fancher will have enough for a first down.
Wow.
And looks like a lot of broken plays there and a lot of running for only a gain of 3. But there is a flag, and it's holding against the Warriors. So negate that first down, and we're going to do it again. It's going to be 3rd and 11 now.
And that has to be the most frustrating thing if your Cam Fancher ran for about a little over 30 yards to get 3 and then gets marched back 10.
But Overholzer was so close on getting that one. Fancher rerouted himself to come back, and Overholzer almost had that sack.
But those scrambles right there, that's what puts the Warriors in advantage. Their athleticism shows on plays like that. Fancher
So 3rd and 1 goes to 3rd and 13 back at the 36. Still has to get, we'll say, to midfield for the first down.
Big 3rd down and 13 here.
Fancher going to step back. He's going to throw it out, and it is incomplete. Intended, I believe that was number 3, RJ Mukes again.
And it was, Jared. Number 1, Ethan Somm in coverage. And as you see in the MVCC Game of the Week replay, Fancher throwing at a 53% clip. So kind of underwhelming this year, but, and you see it there. That's what he really needs to work on. He's a very...
He just put it a little bit too high. I mean, Mukes had the separation between him and the defender. Should have put that one, tucked it down a little bit more.
He's a fluent playmaker, but he throws a little off sometimes and he turns the ball over a lot. So we'll see how he works on that.
Fairmont sent everything at that punt to try and block it, and it's going to take a Warriors bounce out of bounds at the 19.
A fantastic punt there. But Fancher overall is just a playmaker, Jared, in the vein. So you see he's a cross star for basketball and football, only a junior, and really I think the future of this Wayne Warriors program hangs upon him for the next couple years.
So the Firebirds are set to come out for their second offensive drive of the game.
And you got to have a chip on your shoulder if you're Dave Miller up 7-0.
How many
on Wayne.
times have we called a Firebirds game that they get the ball twice in the first quarter?
It's not as common as it should be, Jared. And look for Thompson right behind Hillian to go out onto one of the sides as a tight end, and you see it right there.
Goes to the top, and
Tank Gant
gets the carry there.
Burrows himself inside the Wayne D for about 4 yards there. Actually about 2, wow. So 2nd and 8. And you see those kind of plays right there, Jared. Wayne's going to have to be all over. If you can stop this Firebirds D on the first play or force them into a mistake, then you have the advantage. You have the upper hand on the entire drive.
2nd and 8 from the 21.
And you'll see their custom formation with 7 linemen out there now,
Late
1 short.
Substitution.
And 10 men on the field.
Hillen's going to hand it off to Gant, and Gant will be out to about the 23, maybe the 24.
Fights for another 2, it looked like.
And now this is the 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6 that the Firebirds try to stay out of.
Yeah, and this is where Wayne wants to be situationally.
This is where probably you're going to look to see maybe a pitch to Hillen or a pitch out to Gant. We saw a few times last week that wide shovel pitch from Hillen to Gant.
2 receivers out there. We'll see a new one in Anis Musami. Firebirds are down. Thompson is in motion.
Wright's, and we talked about it, the shovel pitch to the outside, but no blocking.
Oh, my
and Wright's
goodness.
going to throw it, and it just through the wide open
Nathan Long, and you got to wonder if Nathan Long ran too far or Keon Wright waited too long.
Wright wasn't set. You see here in the replay.
And you have to run that back a little bit before. I get that you're trying to sell it, but once you get up, there's a point where you can't set your feet anymore. Nonetheless, good play design by Miller once again, and brings up a big 4th and 6, and it'll most likely be a punt here. The offense waits for the words, and they are spoken. That'll bring out Zach Snodgrass. He's been a below-average punter for the Firebirds this year, either really good punts or really bad punts.
And Wayne is going to put 2 back there to receive. It's going to be looks like either 2, I think it's number 3, RJ Mukes at the top of the screen. And I cannot see the number of the other one. Flag on the play as Snodgrass hits an end-over-end punt, and it's fielded and it is fumbled. But the Warriors
Mullins
get it
recovers
back.
Those Mullins and Mukes back there, but see what the flag is.
It's going to be a false start against the Firebirds. It's the decision. He wants them to re-kick, or if he just wants to take the penalty.
Yeah, I think he's taking it. So it looks like Wayne's offense will be back out there once again.
No, they're just going to decline the penalty. So they'll start at about the 33 or something with that fumble.
Jared Fancher is going to have to execute if this Wayne offense is going to work. You've seen him.
Now you see 2 balls on the field. Fancher's walking around with his own.
Looks like the referees are still discussing. Kind of just going around here. I've never seen
this long of a referee stoppage for having 2 footballs on the field. So Wayne takes over 1st and 10 at the 35. Fancher with running back beside him, and he's going to have 1 in the slot, and they're going to pitch it out to
Devin Nelson. Be another 3 yards. Another 3-yard rush by number 30, Devin Nelson. So I haven't seen him getting going yet. Really, the Wayne Warriors defense, the Wayne Warriors offense not really going anywhere so far, Jared.
No, they've gotten to this part of the field twice and have stalled, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
And look at the bottom of your screen, that spacing.
And that one is incomplete, intended to number 2, Damian Bowles.
See more miscommunication from the Wayne Warriors.
And it's going to bring up 3rd and about 6. I do not know why the scoreboard says no, there they changed it.
So Fancher is going to have to step up, Jared. We haven't seen a lot of big plays other than the run that got turned back.
Maybe we can see a called run here for Fancher on 3rd and 6.
Trips bunch to the left. The top of your screen. Here we go.
Fancher back to pass. He's going to tuck it, and he's going to roll to the left. He's going to cut it back, and he will spin move for a 1st down.
And those are the type of plays he can make with his feet, Jared. Cam Fancher, number 1. And Wayne's athleticism proving supreme once again on a critical situation. Here you go on the MVCC Game of the Week replay. He escapes outright, makes a couple cuts, spins. And Overholzer comes down with the pursuit tackle.
Tackled by number 18 there for the Firebirds.
Set up in the same formation now as Wayne.
Fancher's going to keep it, and he's going to scramble for about a gain of 2 on the play. So Wayne finally makes it across midfield with 1:40 left and counting in the 1st quarter.
Fairmont had to study up for this. I think that's why the middle of their defense is so bunched up in this spread out formation, is because they're really keeping an eye on Fancher. He's ran for 600 yards so far and 6 touchdowns this season.
But like we talked about, those fumbling miscues, 5 fumbles.
6 interceptions.
Turn in another miscommunication between now and that was intended to number 6, Braden Hill for the Warriors.
Braden Hill is a guy who is more of a potentially dangerous receiver. He's about 6'3", has the body, but doesn't really have the record to prove it. So here we go, Wayne, another 3rd and long for Fancher.
Fancher's going to throw it to the outside, and it is incomplete. That one was intended to, I believe, Mukes.
And we see more sloppy play from number 1, Cam Fancher. And the clock is still running, and it just stopped, Jared.
Yeah,
running for about good 2 plays that were incomplete.
Yeah, the 2 incomplete passes, the clock stayed running. Now you're going to see number 7, Elijah Brown, on to punt for the 3rd time tonight, 3rd time in this quarter.
Jared, just over a 50% completion rate on the season. When will Cam Fancher tighten up his quarterback play?
And Baker catches this one, calls for the fair catch at the 12.
So at the end of this 1st quarter, 37 seconds left, we'll probably see 1 or 2 more plays from the Firebirds tops. But what do you think about this game, Jared, so far?
Coming in, I thought Wayne was going to do a little bit better than what they have. I mean, Wayne barely has moved the ball much. I mean, they've had excellent starting field position twice and have only gotten across the 50 once on 3 drives. So Wayne is kind of surprising me with how dismal the offense has been so far tonight. And on the other hand, I mean, Fairmont had the one huge run by Hillen, but other than that, Warriors have kind of kept them at bay offensively too.
So far, a sloppy outing from Fancher in the Warriors offense.
Hillen pitches it out to Wright. Wright has blockers out in front. He cuts it back in and makes moves out to the 30.
And you see the clock tick down to 29. And they're moving the chains, and that should be the last play. And look at Wright on the replay. He has the jets, Jared. You saw it on the first play. You see it there, how he cuts across the field. This kid is a playmaker.
And that, like we said, look at the excellent blocking out there. I believe that was Feltner that had that huge block about 10 yards down the field.
And the scary part about all this, Jared, I think, is that Keon Wright, Tank Gant, and Malik Killian have all played together. They're all sophomores, and so this Fairmont offense has major potential. But here you go. That's the end of your first quarter for MVCC Game of the Week. Number 8, the Fairmont Firebirds up on the Wayne Warriors 7-0.
Yeah, Fairmont has 2 huge runs by Keon Wright, but other than that, that's about it.
Gotten a couple good read options.
Congratulations to our students, teachers, parents, and staff in carrying Attendance Matters. Please give a big round of applause to our winning elementary, middle, and high school units.
Here we go, getting ready to start the second quarter of play. 1st and 10 at the 25 for the Firebirds.
Brings out the usual formation. You see Trevor True once again at the bottom of your screen just to spread the defense out. Been working the past couple weeks for sure.
Hillen will pitch it out to Wright again. Wright has the blocking, and he will be across the 30 and leaps out to about the 34.5, so he'll be close to a Firebirds first down, if not having it. Let's see what the...
Keon Wright once again to the outside, Jared, for like about the 4th time this game so far, and it's worked almost every time. Why is there no man going out to stop Keon Wright? There's one guy, and he's getting blocked by Chris Thompson due to the play design and the nature of this Fairmont offense, but still, you have to have multiple guys trying to stop that edge. They've been killing them so far tonight, and Keon Wright's speed is really starting to get to the Wayne Warriors defense. You go Thompson motion to the right.
And Gant's going to get the carry, and Gant powers his way through, and that should be enough for the first down.
They power through one. Interesting to see. We haven't seen the goal line formation from Fairmont once tonight. That battery ram type formation. Looks like they'll try to spread it out a little more too. They brought on Trevor True and number 18 receiver Anaz Musaimi at the bottom of your screen. So 2 receivers set now. The Fairmont Firebirds. And Wayne will have to pick it up.
Hillen and a fumble on a play, and Wright falls on it for about a loss of 4.
And what a stop. Number 99, Gerard Couch, and that was my player to watch. And you see him here prevailing slips through a hole in the offensive line. And you got to get a body on that guy, Jared. He has been a one-man wrecking machine for the Wayne Warriors so far this season and already making some big plays so far tonight. They've kind of stayed away from him or have had a big body on him, but that time he goes uncovered and slithers through the Fairmont offensive line. Bring up another play for Malik Hillian and this Firebird offense in the same formation. 5 on the play clock. Gank gets the ball
and gets back to maybe the original line of scrimmage, and a flag comes in.
And it looks like the referee just signaled for a face mask on Wayne. And you see here on the MVCC Game of the Week replay at the end.
Right there, yep, you see it. He's number 11 for the Warriors, Kaylin Turner.
And that is a senior defensive back / linebacker. You could not be making those kinds of plays when you're playing a team as disciplined as the Fairmont Firebirds. Definitely have to clean that up.
So that face mask penalty will move it into Warriors territory for the Firebirds as we approach 9.5 minutes left in the first half.
Tonnage formation now. Goes absolutely nowhere. Great containment for the Wayne defensive line. He faked the handoff to Tank and was going to look for the pitch, but they had a person covering the pitch. Finally, Jared, they have a person covering that outside pitch to Keon Wright, and look where it got him.
A gain, or no gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Just so far, Wayne showing some resistance that we haven't seen in past drives. Really getting to the core of this Fairmont offense. See if it can continue here. Usaimi, the only receiver out there. Thompson in motion to the left.
Right, where Hillen will, or actually handed it off to Gant.
Well, I thought it's probably a designed carry there, but Wright really had some room out there to work with. Oh, if that was an option, he did not choose the right one. And it'll be a 3rd and 9, and you saw Tank Gant walking out of the huddle, so
it's not going to be a power run up the middle with Gant on this one.
It might be a power run.
You see Trey Baker come in.
Trey Baker right behind his cousin Garrett in front of Keon Wright in that battery ram formation, but yet we see it from the 3rd and 9 now.
Thompson's going to go out. Hillen will pitch it to Wright, and Wright is tackled for another loss behind the 50 for about a loss of 3 or 4 on the play. And Fairmont maybe having a couple miscues on blocking on the line, but Wayne has gotten through on the last couple pitches to Wright.
Yeah, and a fantastic tackle. Honestly, Jared, I thought Wright should have been more fixed on trying to beat number 32 for the Warriors, Jaden Hurd, off of the edge. Instead, he tried to kind of dance around and lost a few yards. But still, not much you can do if you're Fairmont on 3rd and 9. Your offense is designed to work off of 3rd and shorts.
Snodgrass on to punt again for the Firebirds. Sends a booming one to the sidelines, and that one goes out. Let's see where the referees mark it out at.
That's one of the more average punts from Snodgrass's. We've seen some brutal ones and some really good ones so far this year.
And refs will mark it down out at the 31, so about a punt of 25 yards.
Yeah, not that bad when you take into account the statistical punting record so far this year. And you see trips at the bottom of your screen for the Wayne Warriors. 5 receivers now. Cam Fancher alone in the backfield receiving direction. And now is the time to execute if you're the Warriors.
Fancher throws it across the middle of the field, hauled in by number 7, Elijah Brown, across midfield down to the 45. And just like that, Wayne is in Firebirds territory with 7 minutes left and counting in the first
And I've been waiting for Fancher to execute on the spacing to create it and get it to the big man Brown down the middle.
Fancher left alone in the backfield again. He's going back And he's going to tuck it, and he is a ball pops out, and the Firebirds recover it.
Garrett Danielson hops on it lightning fast.
Fancher fumbles it for the 6th time this season. Let's take a look and see who knocked it out there. That looks like
that is the
number 9, Danielson.
Garrett Baker.
Or Baker, sorry.
Garrett Danielson, the defensive back, hops on the fumble. But what a play from Garrett Baker. The past few games, he has been coming up huge in his senior season. But the real problem here is Fancher. We see him just carrying that thing like a loaf of bread around and still making a lot of mistakes. That is actually his 4th fumble of the season, 10th total turnover. It is shocking for a player that talented to be that loose with the ball sometimes.
So Fairmont takes over on the Wayne turnover with 6:46 left in the first half at the 40. And Hillen is going to look back to pass, and he's going to tuck it, and he's going to run for about a gain of 1 on the play.
Excellent job by the Wayne Warriors. If this were the past 2 weeks, that would have been an open play down the middle of the field, but they've watched the tape. They know they're going to come out with these surprise passes, and they were ready for that one, Jared. But that left tackle has to protect Hillian. You barely pass the ball. When you pass the ball, you have to protect the quarterback.
And that end came through almost untouched.
But the Wayne Warriors starting to collect the Fairmont Firebirds offense number. They're definitely starting to get more use to the looks. So 2nd and 9 now for Hillian. We'll see which way Thompson splits out at tight end, and he'll go to the right.
To the bottom of your screen. And Gant gets the carry. And he'll be across the 43, about a gain of 3 or 2 on the play.
Great job by Elijah Fleming coming up and about to crack Hillian if he kept that thing.
So it'll be 3rd and 7 from the 43. So we are under 5.5 minutes left in the first half of our MVCC game of the week for week number 8. Fairmont does not have a lot of plays for 3rd and 7 and longer, so it'll be interesting to see what they call here as they leave Gant in for this 3rd and long.
I think it might be a toss.
And I think Miller's going to take his timeout, and he is. I saw him running up the sideline to the ref.
You definitely saw a look from the Wayne Warriors defense that he didn't like. But Jared, you got to compliment the ability to adapt from this Wayne Warriors defense. It definitely looked like it was going to be a long night for them on the first drive, but
after the Firebirds' first drive, Fairmont looked like they were going to take control of this game at the line of scrimmage, and so far Wayne has battled back and kept it at bay for only a 7-point deficit as we approach this halftime here.
Definitely think there were a lot of talks with some coaches on that sideline while Fancher was out there. 7-0. Fairmont has the ball. 3rd and 7 situation.
And Fairmont, I mean, this timeout is good for 3rd and 7, but I mean, if Fairmont doesn't pick it up and gets about maybe 4 or 3 on this play, Fairmont's also drawing up probably their 4th down play for this in this timeout too. Because I would almost assume the Firebirds are going to go for it depending on what they get here.
For sure, but you got to think when Miller calls that timeout, he's calling a play that they have worked on all week. He's like, listen, this is the situation. You guys remember it. Let's go out and do it. That's just my theory, but we'll see if it's correct as Hillian settles down.
Hillian's going to pitch it to right. Thompson has the block to the outside. He cuts it back in, and he will be about a yard short. So gut check time here. Do you go for it?
Yes, I definitely think you go for it if you're the Fairmont Firebirds, but you got to be a little frustrated as Keon Wright, he continues to cut it back when I think he has the edge here. I don't think he's going to turn this into a huge play, Jared, but I definitely think he could have got to the outside and got that first down.
And you see the tonnage comes out. Trey Baker comes into the game, and they bring another offensive lineman in number 62, Jacob Waskey.
You can expect the trademark battery ram formation here. You got Thompson, you got Gant all in front of your middle linebacker, Trey Baker.
Baker gets the carry, and Baker jumps over the pile for a first down for the Firebirds across the midfield.
And not only has this guy been the leader of their defense this year with 70 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, an interception, but he has been their 4th down running back all year, notching about 120 yards and 3 total touchdowns. So that'll bring back out the Firebirds chains once again. And Jared, they'll get a chance to, I don't even think they'll be mad if they don't get a score at the end of this quarter. I think they're just trying to keep the ball out of Cam Fancher's hands.
Thompson goes in motion to the top of the line, and Gant will pitch it out to Wright, and Wright cuts it back in. He's across the 45 down to about the 44, and another questionable cut. I mean, outside looked like he had more room to run.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's all up to these players and their ball carrier vision, and maybe he just sees something that we do not. But nonetheless, that was actually a pretty good play from Keon Wright, despite the cutback. I think he actually made the right decision, in my opinion, but we could go back and forth on this stuff all day if we really wanted to, Jared. It's all about what the players do.
You see a little bit of confusion here by the Firebirds for this 2nd and 5 play.
That's their custom formation.
And Hillen is going to keep it, and he is swung down by number 45 of the Warriors, Jalen Lovett.
He's been a pretty solid player on that defensive line throughout times of the year.
He came off the block, and he just ripped him down by the shoulder pad as the Wayne Warriors take a timeout on the 3rd down play. You see right there, he comes off the block and just grabs him by the shoulder pad and pulls him down.
I think the problem with the Firebirds offensive line is the fact that they're still trying to fall over and get that initial penetration with their running backs. But Wayne is catching on. I think they're
right. Wayne has looked like they've almost taken a step back off the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
The Firebirds will lunge forward, and Wayne can just.
They're using their athleticism to beat them to the punch. And I really think Fairmont's going to need to follow through with their blocks for the rest of this game if they want to be successful in the interior of that defense. Because you realize the focal points of this Fairmont offense has been getting to the outside and getting space, which I thought it was going to be the opposite. I thought the 8th-ranked rushing defense in this GWAC conference was going to allow Fairmont to walk all over them, but it has been the opposite, a polar opposite of what I thought the game was going to be. But
so 3rd and 6 from the 45 for the Firebirds out of the Wayne timeout.
Another crucial 3rd down conversion for the Firebirds, and the biggest thing about this play is it's going to keep the clock running, honestly.
Hillen's going to keep it, and he cuts it back in, and he will get to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And the home crowd wants a late or a flag for unnecessary roughness.
For sure, it definitely was unnecessary. Bad sportsmanship right there.
And questionable there, Wayne does not take the timeout to preserve the clock like they did on the 2nd down play.
And despite the sportsmanship, number 34, Elijah Fleming, this senior, has been pumped up all night, making great plays in the interior of that offensive line. Punt by Snodgrass, one of his better ones.
Fielded at the 15 by number 18, Austin Mullins.
That'll bring out the Wayne Warriors, and their offense has 2 minutes to score. Jared, we know these guys are lightning fast. They've done a lot of this before, especially years prior. But this year they've had a pretty good dynamic attack going on.
2-minute drive with 2 timeouts. Yeah, I think Wayne can definitely utilize the middle of the field here and attack.
You think they're going to score?
It depends on how these first couple plays go, how the Warriors move. Fancher throws the ball out to, I believe that is
R.J.
Mukes, and he'll be close to a 1st down. And the refs are going to say he has the 1st down, so gain of 10 on your first play. Wayne quickly back up to the line with 1:50 left in the 1st.
And I think they should have been doing those kind of plays the entire game, Jared, trying to get their playmakers in open space.
Fancher back to pass, throws it, it's high, and almost intercepted by the diving number 3, Caleb Young, for the Firebirds.
And if you look at the replay, I think the throw could have been better, but honestly, that's all up to Mullins.
Looked a little high.
But right out of his hands, you got to catch that.
And Young almost had the opportunity there for an interception.
Brings out another Offensive series with 5 receivers for Fancher.
Fancher back to pass. He's going to throw a bullet to the outside to Bowles, and Caleb Young comes up and makes the open field tackle for the Firebirds.
A good play, but fantastic tackle, as you said.
Gain of about 6 on the play, maybe 7. 3rd and about 3 here. And Fancher alone again. He's going to tuck it, and he's going to run, and he's going to be tackled.
Goes absolutely nowhere.
Maybe a gain of 1, and that's it.
Number 54, Jacob Dotson on the play.
So let's see what the Warriors do here on 4th and 1. Kind of surprised the Firebirds didn't call a timeout to preserve time.
Great job by Trey Baker there.
Fancher's going to run for it, and he gets the first down.
Yeah, going to use one of the timeouts here finally. 49 seconds left, just short of the 50-yard line. It'll be interesting to see how the Warriors will react here. Actually didn't call a timeout on the play.
No, they didn't. 48 seconds, well, counting now. And Fancher, I don't know if he realizes they didn't call a timeout, but Fancher left alone in the backfield again, and he's gonna tuck it, and he's gonna run. Looks, and he's gonna throw it, and it's hauled in, and it's intercepted. Let's see what the refs say.
That's out of his hands.
They're gonna say incomplete.
So close.
I thought Young would have came up with another interception there.
That would have been a crazy one. But a little high from Fancher once again, and I understand that one a lot better. He was under pressure. He was on the move.
Yeah, on the run, bad.
But still, got to make these plays.
31 seconds left, 3rd and 10 from the, or 2nd and 10 from the.
Yeah, ineligible receiver. They just called a penalty. I thought they moved the ball back. I was kind of confused, but.
So it's 1st and 15 now with 31 seconds left. And Fairmont sends a deep coverage out, and that one is incomplete, intended to number 7, Elijah Brown.
And Elijah Brown does not look like he is okay on the ground. You see in the MVCC Game of the Week replay, slow it down. And you saw Jalen Razor just come up right under him.
Lands awkwardly on the shoulder.
He allows Elijah Brown to just flip over him. And a great defensive play by Razor. But unfortunately, these are the kind of plays that happen in a football game. Comes with the territory. This young man, Elijah Brown, has been quite a weapon so far this season. He's an emerging tight end, only a sophomore at 6'5", 220 pounds. He's been a weapon. 22 receptions and 365 receiving yards. No touchdowns yet, but we talk about the bright futures of both of these young teams. And number 7, Elijah Brown, is part of the Warriors' future, no doubt about that. The big prospect from a big football school. Doesn't look like any huge issues. Might have just got the air knocked out of him. That was a pretty hard fall, especially with his 220-pound frame. And he gets up, and he will receive a standing ovation as he gets walked off the field with a slight gimp.
And you see the first one to come over and console him is the quarterback, Fancher. And Fancher, another high ball thrown there by Fancher to make Brown go up and get it. But, I mean, I think if the Warriors want to try and mount a comeback in the second half, Fancher has got to put the ball more in the breadbasket than instead of up above the receiver's head.
For sure, Jared. It's just been a lack of execution when it comes to this Wayne Warriors offense almost all over the field. They definitely will have to tighten up. And
fumble.
Speaking of lack of execution.
And Fancher gets it complete out to the 40.
And definitely expect a timeout here.
But there was a huge missed holding call in the backfield.
And that's not
by the
good.
refs.
As senior linebacker Evan Overholzer, a huge part of the outside of this defense, is limping off the field, Jared. And we've seen this little man make plays for the past 2 years constantly. And you saw,
especially the last 2 weeks. But I mean, what the ability for Fancher to pick that ball up on the ground, at least 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and scramble to get it in 3rd and 2 situation with 15 seconds left as the Warriors called a timeout.
yeah, he has an incredible ability to always improvise no matter what. But at the end of the day, you got to make the throws, and you have to know where your offense is going. You have to have that vision. He is lacking it so far. Evan Oberhoser was able to limp off the field. And he will not come back out. It's not yet. Oh, he is actually back out there. Right back out there.
Wayne calling timeout allowed him to go back in.
How tough from number 10. And Fairmont backs all the way up.
Fairmont playing a deep prevent defense as that one is incomplete, intended to David Nelson.
And slips right through the hands of Nelson.
And 4th and 2. And you're going to see the Warriors leave Fancher on the field.
And you see drops, missed blocking assignments, errant throws, fumbles. Wayne has to clean their act up in the second half, Jared, or you're not going to be able to beat a strategic team like the Fairmont Firebirds.
Fancher going to step back to throw, and he throws it out to Bowles, and he will have a 1st down. But that took off a lot of time, and the clock stops with 3.2.
I don't think they're going to. I think they might try to take one more chance down the field, Jared.
Wayne has 1 timeout. They did not signal that they took it.
Yeah, but I think this is more of a lackluster performance from the refs, Jared. I don't think there was any signal from the refs signaling a timeout. You got to do that stuff right away.
As Wayne calls its final timeout.
So up 7-0 now. The half pretty much over, barring an Aaron Rodgers type Hail Mary miracle right here. And we've seen Fancher. He has the ability to get these types of plays done and down the field, but hasn't really executed upon any of his opportunities so far today.
And they're going to put about 1.8 seconds left on the clock. Now they're going to take it down to 4.5.
And I guarantee they'll check the status of Elijah Brown, as they could really use him in this situation. His 6'5", 220-pound frame, and he will not come out. Instead, we'll see Bowles, Brendan Hill, a 6'4", junior.
And Mukes will be up top.
Along with Mullins.
And you're going to see the Firebirds are going to go prevent like the last play.
Yeah, that's all the way prevent.
4.5 seconds left. Fancher back to pass. He's going to get in. He's going to run. Avoids the tackle by Baker. Fancher's going to launch it down to a wide open receiver, and it is complete, but, or no, that was incomplete to number 6, Brendan Hill. The first one we saw was a holding. Interesting to see what is called.
He stepped over the line of scrimmage when he passed that play.
You got holding against Wayne. And illegal forward pass. Both are declined. And that'll be the end of the first half in our MVCC Game of the Week for week number 8. Fairmont holds a 7-0 lead over the Wayne Warriors. So definitely setting up to be an interesting second half as we see the Warriors miscues. Let's see if they continue into the second half. right, getting ready here to start the second half of our MVCC Game of the Week for week number 8. Fairmont's leading 7-0 over the Wayne Warriors. Jeff, quick halftime stats, or first half stats before we get started here as Fairmont's set to receive the ball.
Well, Jared, it definitely plays into Fairmont's style of play. The way the game has gone so far, 15 minutes and 45 seconds of possession time for the Firebirds versus 8 minutes and 15 seconds for the Wayne Warriors. Wayne has rushed for 25 yards compared to Fairmont's 110. And Cam Fancher is 8 of 15, passing 86 yards. He also has 5 rushes for 20 yards. And then when you go over to Fairmont's side, nobody has passed the ball yet other than Keon Wright. And you had that attempt. He got tackled on the halfback toss. But he also has 7 rushes for 85 yards and a touchdown. So really the key player so far in this game, the only one that's actually notable. And that kick
is fielded at about the 10 for the Firebirds. Cuts it to the outside. He's at the 30. He's across the 40. That was number 3, Caleb Young.
And you see Young in the secondary a lot. He is the second corner, but he does have some top-end speed, Jared, as you just saw there on the Game of the Week replay. And he took the edge all the way past the 40. So here we kick off this second half in the MVCC Game of the Week, number 8. And Tank Gant, he has been the workhorse once again tonight. 8 carries, 1 more than Keon Wright. For only 27 yards. He's really taken those blows so far, Jared. And they're going to hand off to Trey Baker as Tank will not be out there.
Baker across, or down to about the 43. So gain of about 3 on the play.
And his only rush prior to that was the rush for
the first down. Yeah, 4th and 1.
He only got 2 yards there though. So now, what is it? Got 2 yards earlier on the 4th down conversion, 3 yards that time. And they'll come out with a full tonnage set here, no receivers. And another handoff to the backup workhorse.
Baker, as he's across the 45 out to about the 47. So it'll be 3rd and about 4 coming up here for the Firebirds.
That was his 3rd carry of the game. But overall, Trey Baker has been a secondary or ball carrier all year. Before this game, he had 28 carries, 114 yards on 4.1 yards per carry and 3 touchdowns, all in the red zone, Jared. Quite a jack of all trades as he's been in there on the return game as well.
3rd and 3 here for the Firebirds on their first drive of the second half.
2 tight ends to the left.
Baker's going to get the carry. Baker makes moves across the 50, and he will be out for a first down for the Firebirds into Warriors territory.
Someone's mouthpiece came on that one, Jared, but a first down for Fairmont. This is exactly how they wanted to start out this half. And then now 2 minutes already took off the clock. We'll see if Baker will stay in there. He will. So we'll see some more looks. You got a 2 tight end set all to the left. You got Thompson and Wright on the edges.
Baker gets the carry again, and he is down to about the 46, so gain of about 2 on the play.
Is it just me, or do you got deja vu, Jerry? That was about the same play ran about 3 times in a row.
And this is where Wayne has to watch out. Once Fairmont gets in a repetitive state is when they pull out a different run or a different blocking schemes by the line.
Yeah, especially when they find success. And you'll see a little change. You'll see Gerard Couch over there on the end where they were just running it a lot. You'll see another change as Trevor True will come in with Nathan Long as the receivers on this play.
As Baker gets the carry, and he's across the 40 down to about the 39. It'll be close to another first down for the Firebirds, and Baker is putting in his reps he took in practice this week. 5 straight carries for Baker.
And what a lot of people don't know about Trey Baker is he coming up through the middle school ranks. He was actually a running back. They thought he was going to be a running back in this triple option system. Changed him to full-time middle linebacker his freshman year. It has been there ever since, but has still been a red zone menace.
And Hillen's going to keep it and rush right up the middle for the first down for the Firebirds.
Beautiful play design by Fairmont once again as they spread out the offense almost more than ever just to shove it down the throat one more time. They sneak the little Hillian right in the middle. That'll renew downs once again. Fairmont already coming into this half owning the battle of time of possession, which this offense is designed to do, and they're taking it more in their direction, putting it to 19 minutes now compared to the Wayne Warriors 8.
Late substitution there, number 62.
They don't have much time.
Comes in with 4 seconds left on the clock.
And it looks like they got him jumping there, Jared. Free play for the Firebirds.
So it's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Warriors.
Looks like number 31, Dakari Ward. You see the replay. You see Hillian move a little bit. It's actually 99, Gerard Couch.
So 1st and 5 now for the Firebirds. That was your player to watch. Not so disciplined on the line, is he?
No, not at all. Only a junior.
And that one's going to probably be a false start, and that's going to back the Firebirds up.
And so another penalty, this time on the Firebird side.
And the Warriors were lucky because I only counted 10 players on the field for the Warriors.
Wow. That would have been a huge mistake. But nonetheless, we're back where we started. 1st and 10.
And the clock is still running at this point, so Fairmont is taking off. They're approaching a 5-minute, or now at a 5-minute drive here.
Yeah, they don't mind either of those penalties, Jared. Not at all.
As Gant gets the carry, Gant right up the middle, and Gant will be ahead for a Firebirds. Well, they're going to mark him about a yard short.
And I just love the Miller strategy here as you see Gant rumble up the middle for a near first down carry. But you get Baker in there taking all those blows that Gant doesn't have to endure.
Gant gets the pitch out. Gant will have the first down to about the 25 for the Firebirds. And the Firebirds' methodical, time-consuming drive continues on another first down run for Gant.
A great bunch tackle, though, for Wayne. Getting in there and getting dirty. Aaron Grillo and Jalen Lovett in on that play in the defensive line. You see one receiver out now for Fairmont at the bottom of your screen. You get number 18, Anaz Musami, once again. You see that fake hit you saw a lot when Miller first took over, but not so much since then.
I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen it at all this year. As Hillen keeps it, and he fumbled it, and the Warriors recover it.
And a fantastic play. That was number 31. 31 Ward on the strip. Number 34 Fleming picks it up.
And, I mean, Fairmont executed that drive perfectly except for that fumble. Will that come back and haunt the Firebirds? We'll find out if Wayne handled those miscues at halftime.
And first mistake on Fairmont comes on one of the most essential drives, Jared. You stop Wayne after ticking down the whole first half clock. You tick down half of the third quarter, and you just lose it. Has to be incredibly disappointing for the Firebirds' offensive front. And you get Nelson behind Fancher with 4 receivers. A lot of spacing on the outside for Wayne.
Fancher's going to throw it to the outside, and it is high, incomplete, intended to Mukes again. And I think with that Fancher's first pass attempt of the second half, I don't think the coach said anything to him about.
Well, that's that's what you have to do. I've been waiting for that side of Wayne to come out all night to throw those little bubble screens and those curls, take advantage of the spacing of the secondary, but can't quite execute still. Cam Fancher moves on to an 8 for 16 passing night so far.
Just about where he is for the season, 50%.
And a big old trips at the top of your screen.
And Fancher's going to hand it off for about a gain of 3 on the play. Nelson with the carry, but 3rd and long here for the Warriors with 5.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Another huge 3rd down. They could have made it a lot more manageable had they capitalized on that open curl.
Fancher back to pass, and it is incomplete. Too far outside to intended to Damian Bowles, and Warriors cannot execute on the Firebirds turnover.
The coaching staff has to be shaking their head, Jared. So many close calls, so many simple plays just thrown out of proportion. And the miscues continue for the Wayne Warriors. The 2 bad short incompletions. There were completions just waiting for Cam Fancher. Instead, he moves on to 8 of 17.
The punt, it looked like it might have been deflected, or he barely got it over the rush of the Firebirds. It's going to go out of bounds at the 37. So now we could almost assume that Fairmont is probably going to keep the ball the rest of this quarter with that methodical drive they had first. Wayne only had the ball for 45 seconds that time.
Yeah, and Malik Hillian made a lot of mistakes on that 0-5 run to start off the season. Granted, he is a sophomore. He's done a lot of growing up the past couple of weeks, but still another mistake there. You have to clean that up. And you know Dave Miller and his son quarterbacks coach Brendan Miller were talking to him.
Handoff up the middle for Gant goes for about 4.
So Gant is back in as the workhorse. 8 carries for 27 yards, only averaging 3.4 yards a carry in that first half. And they had Trey Baker take a chunk of carries for Tank. It's still a very good strategy. And if Fairmont had not made that mistake and fumbled it, I believe they still would be marching down the field, Jared.
Most definitely. With how they just gashing him for 4 and 5 yards. Hillen's going to keep it. Hillen fakes the pitch and is out to the 45 for a gain of 4. So it'll be 3rd and 3, tackled by Couch for the Warriors.
Yeah, good 2nd down play. Just trying to rip off another chunk of what's going to be that 3rd down conversion.
3rd and very long for 2. And if the Firebirds don't pick this up, you almost guarantee they're probably going to go for it.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind. You see Trey Baker there, switched out for Tank Gant once again. So you got to think it'll be a handoff.
Baker gets it, and Baker will be across for a 1st down as he actually got close to midfield there, out to about the 48.5. And now Fairmont, now that they picked up that first down on this drive, this one now Fairmont has got them set up to where they want to run for probably at least the rest of this quarter, maybe even a majority into the 4th quarter.
Yeah, some excellent strategy there from Fairmont, just using their middle linebacker as a battery ram, essentially, going into that middle of the Wayne interior defensive line. And you see him ticking down the clock once again, Jerry. They are masters of time of possession.
As Hillen keeps it, Hillen erupts through across the 50 down to about the 45, and Hillen looked confused in the backfield. I think he thought that Baker was going to keep it.
Yeah, I think it was a miscommunication, but nonetheless, he made the most out of it because just as Hillen didn't know what he was doing with the ball, the Warriors defense didn't have a clue what was going on. A great job by Hillian making something out of nothing. And they'll send Tank back out there.
2nd and 3.
And this running back swap has been a big story tonight so far in this second half.
Hillen's going to fake the handoff to Gant, and he's going to run to the right side and have enough for another first down for the Firebirds.
Great job by the little sneaky Hillen. Once again coming up clutch for a first down. And now the ball will be in an enemy territory at Wayne's 39-yard line. Nathan Long at the bottom of your screen is Fairmont's only receiver. Going to spread this offense out, try to spread this defense out a little bit more. Get something going on the inside. You got a tight end. You got Thompson and Wright out. Gant behind Hillen. Wright in motion. Handoff to Tank Gant.
And Gant is to about the 46, or the 36, sorry.
Good initial contact there by Jaden Hurd. Coming up and trying to get to the legs of the 6'3", 220-pound frame of Tank Gant. Gant will come out once again. Baker will come in once again. They keep on changing him. Formation will remain the same other than the personnel change at halfback.
There's a minute left in the third quarter. Hillen hands off to Baker, and Baker stumbles forward to about the 34. Picks up about 2 on the play.
And they saw it all that time. Gerard Couch had his eyes on Trey Baker from the time he started moving his feet. Great job by Wayne's number 99, hopping on that one. And a big 3rd and 5 here for Fairmont as this third quarter clock expires. No matter what, they will finish out this quarter with the ball, but this conversion is huge for the Firebirds.
You're going to have Baker in the backfield again. Play clock is down to 13, about a 15-second difference between game clock and play clock. Hillen's going to pitch it out to Wright. Wright will try to get to the edge, and he will be tackled at about the 33, so maybe only a gain of 1, maybe 2, but that'll do it for the third quarter. So Fairmont looking at a 4th and a short when they come back out.
And you saw, Jared, he still didn't get to that outside just quite. And possibly could have scrambled out a couple more yards. But great job by Wayne. Their athleticism getting out to the edge. He kind of slowed down there at the end, trying to make something happen. But still, the effort from this young man, number 15, Keon Wright, has been incredible tonight. And if this game ended after 3 quarters, he would definitely be our player of the game, no doubt about that. Opening up this offense in new ways. So 4th and 3 now, heading into this fourth quarter. Jared, what are you expecting to see out on the field here in a few seconds?
Well, I'm going to wait to see if Baker or Gant comes back out first. But I'm assuming it's probably going to be either one of those two are going to get a dive right up the middle, or Hillen's going to just, when he's going to snap it, he's going to run right up the middle. But I don't know. Miller probably, or Wayne probably thinks that they're going to do that, so Miller could pull something else out. Maybe pitch it out to Wright and him throw it down the field like he tried earlier.
Yep, that's the fun part.
Miller has all the plays for this 4th down.
That's the fun part of watching these young Fairmont Firebirds. The unpredictability. Just when you think you have them pegged, they come out with something new, and they are definitely going for it here.
Baker's going to be the one to come out with it. And Thompson is not going to line up right in front of Baker. He's going to go right down to the bottom of the line. So maybe it indicates a run to the right for the Firebirds.
Maybe the exact opposite. We'll see here. They set up.
Hillen, no, they're going to hand it to Baker, and he
went nowhere, Jared.
Did not get it. Maybe gained 1 on the play, but needed 3, so the Firebirds turn it over on 4th down.
And lackluster job overall from the interior offensive line of Fairmont.
And I think that was the one, you saw, even once Hillen handed off to Baker.
It could have been a read option.
It could have been a read option. You see here, bad read option
has
there by
the edge.
Hillen, and he would easily have the first down.
But how about the job of Elijah Fleming staying at that pivot point to where he can still get outside just in case Hillen pulls it? I think his defense really determined that play. Anyways, here is Fancher.
Fancher's going to hand off, I believe that's the number 15,
Tyler Dorsey.
and he will be close to a Warriors first down, about a gain of 9.5 on the play.
And he has been the stealth option so far at running back this year, having some big games and getting the most yards per carry really out of that Wayne Warriors backfield. You see Nelson and Dorsey back there now.
Nelson gets the carry again, and he'll
That's
have Dorsey, and he is deep into Firebirds territory with that run, a gain of about 25 on the play.
Jared, you finally see why this young man was so successful in Nelson's absence. But coming into this game, he had 294 yards, 5 touchdowns on 7 yards per carry.
And Wayne with the up-tempo, Dorsey the carry again, and he is tackled for about a gain of 4 on the play. The change just got set after that first down play.
And good read. Number 42, Trey Baker, had his eyes on Dorsey from the time he took the ball.
And Wayne back up to the line of scrimmage quickly, ready to go.
Way more up-tempo here.
As Fancher's going to keep it, and you see he is holding the ball out. A face mask, or a stiff arm to number 32, Ethan Tipton. But you saw Fancher's holding the ball way out there away from his body. If a linebacker could have come up and hit him, that could have been a fumble.
Yeah, but
no gain on the play, and Fairmont's defense crowd trying to pump up the defense for this 3rd and 7.
you can feel the vibrations over here, Jared. The crowd is pumped.
Fancher back to pass. He's going to air it out to the sideline, and it is hauled in by number 18 for the Warriors. That is Austin Mullins, and he is in a goal-to-go situation for the...
And Wayne is up-tempo again. They're trying to call this play. You feel the urgency of this Wayne Warriors offense right about now, Jared. Mullins has been the go-to guy all season. Proves it once again.
Fancher in the backfield.
Watch for the run here.
Fancher hands off to Nelson. Nelson cuts it back in. Nelson hurdles the defender and into the end zone for a Warriors score with 10:27 left in the 4th quarter.
And Jared, that is the Wayne Warriors we are expecting to see tonight. Finally coming through. Cam Fancher finally executing on a huge offensive opportunity. You saw Nelson there. He was the goal line back last year. That's his 7th touchdown already this year. And he's been out 2 games. And the blocking scheme just capping it off to the edge. So that makes Cam Fancher 9 of 17.
Ian Childress on to kick the extra point.
And it was last week that Childress came in, Jared, as Justin Doan was their kicker for most of the season. So that'll be interesting to see.
And Wayne takes a timeout here on a extra point opportunity.
You have to wonder what's that's about. Causes some suspense, no doubt.
So, I mean, the play clock was at 7, so, I mean, still enough time to get the kick off. But maybe they saw something they liked, and maybe Wayne's going to go for 2.
But how about the urgency once again from the Wayne Warriors offense, trying to get the running game going out of the shotgun. And finally getting that huge play down the field.
And they're going to send the kicking team back out there. Childress on to kick the extra point. A bobbled snap, a kick is up, and kick is good. Wayne ties it with at 7-all with 10:27 left in the game.
That one looked like it was close, Jared.
Yeah, the bobble by the holder definitely made that one a little bit more interesting. And what would it be to miss an extra point out of a timeout on the extra point?
Here we go. Here's the big play once again. And I think the key to that entire play, not only the great catch by Mullins and the placement by Fancher, but the Firebirds blitzed 5 right there out of nowhere. They showed one was delayed, but really took away from the Fairmont coverage. And quick delivery by Cam Fancher.
And Danielson didn't really get turned around to see where the ball was in the air. But it'll be interesting to see how the Firebirds respond here. 10:27 left and 3 timeouts for the Firebirds. I'm not going to assume anything, but I wonder what kind of chunk of time the Firebirds are going to try and take off this clock.
Yeah, for sure. And I bet you over there on that sideline, Miller is preaching to watch the money man, Austin Mullins. Last week, he had 7 receptions, 220 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This week, making a big play already. So definitely need to keep your eyes on number 18 if you're the Fairmont secondary. Here we go. Fairmont will get the ball after a Warriors score.
This one's fielded at about the 10-yard line for the Firebirds. Young gets it to the outside. Young's at the 20. He's across the 30. He's out to about the 40. So excellent starting field position on a 30-yard return for the Firebirds and Caleb Young.
Once again doing it, and we haven't seen much success from this kickoff return squad so far this season, Jared. Tank Gant is their top kick returner at 6'3", 220, averaging 20 yards a return, and so far 2 huge returns from Caleb Young tonight.
Coming in, I mean, the last 2 weeks we've covered the Firebirds, a team really hasn't been able to kick it down that far on kickoffs in Miamisburg or Centerville, so Wayne's kicker actually has the leg to get it down to the 10 or further.
Tank Gant.
Gant gets the carry for about a gain of 2.
So great job by Wayne stifling this Fairmont first down. So far this drive looking good after 1 play, 2nd and 8. And first down, we talked about it earlier, Jared, that's when you really have to step up against this Firebirds triple option.
Play clock is down to 10.
They have 1 receiver out there now.
Hillen is going to keep it, and he is sacked in the backfield for a loss of 2. And the home crowd was looking. It looked like maybe the defender got, and I think they just threw the flag for a face mask. You see here, maybe he grips the face mask right.
Yeah, he got under the
does.
helmet. Got under the helmet. Bad mistake by Elijah Fleming, the senior. He has been fired up all night, and he has to be feeling that one.
And that's going to be a first.
And you saw him patting his chest, telling his teammates, that was me.
Actually, I think they're just going to call illegal hands to the face. Not a face mask.
I think that was pretty accurate, though. But nonetheless, Tank Gant should have got that ball, Jared. The offensive line made an amazing push.
2nd and 6 from the 49. Clock still counting down. Play clock's at 3. And Hillen's going to keep it. He's going to get out to the 50. And that should be enough for another Firebirds first down and keeps the chains moving.
Another excellent seam taken by Malik Hilliard. He's made some mistakes over the course of the season and even in the second half tonight. Some huge ones, but you see why they trust in this young man so much. The football IQ to keep the ball and stay with the safe play.
He needed 6, and I think he got 6 points, or 6 and a 1.
So here we go. You'll see 1 receiver at the top of your screen, number 18, Inaz Musami, once again.
Fairmont, I handed it off to Baker, and Baker will be out to about, or down to about the 47, gain of about 3.
In each play, the nerves and intensity grows between this matchup, Jared. 7-7, 8 minutes remaining here in this fourth quarter in the entire game.
And Fairmont back up to the line, but 25 seconds left on the play clock. I'm going to assume they're probably going to drive this one down.
Yeah, they definitely want this drive to be theirs. But they got to earn it. 2nd and 7. Wayne has been holding up excellent tonight against this triple option. A lot better than we anticipated, although we haven't seen as many passes.
Play clock is down to 5. Baker gets the carry. Baker maybe gains a yard on the play, so it'll be 3rd and about 6 coming up for the Firebirds.
And Jared, with this game tied, you gotta anticipate a pass pretty soon. Trick plays are definitely in the cards here for this drive, but first they have to get this 3rd and 6.
3rd and 6 from the 46. 7 minutes, 10 seconds left and counting. Play clock is down to 10, so Fairmont will not have to hike it on this side of the 7 minutes. Hillen was going to pitch it to Wright, and Wright corrals it, and he's going to be tackled for a huge loss. And the Warriors defense comes up strong on a mishandled pitch from Hillen to Wright.
It's such a crucial mistake. We talk about how young this offense is all the time, Jared. And if he would have took that pitch, he could have gotten the edge. He was seconds away from breaking that one into a 1st down.
4th and 14 now, a 10-yard loss on that.
And in a crucial moment, the sophomores making big mistakes tonight.
Snodgrass sends this punt. It's hauled in at the 20, or hauled in at about the 15 actually, and he's tackled for about a 2-yard loss. Surprising what the returner didn't call for a fair catch there.
Yeah, and good tackle by Young. It was inches away from being interference, though.
Right. So Wayne takes over. 6 minutes, 10 seconds left in the 4th. I would say momentum on the Warriors side after scoring on their last offensive possession.
No doubt about that, Jared. A couple possessions ago I would have disagreed, but Wayne changed the course of the entire game with one play. And now we know that they're capable of that.
1st and 10 at the 13. Fancher's going to keep it, and Fancher is wrapped up in the backfield. I believe that is number 22 and number 9. So it's going to be Danielson.
That was Jacob DeGlau and Garrett Baker. And what a play by Baker, coming off the opposite edge of the read option, coming over to disrupt Cam Fancher. 2nd and 11 now. Got to think they're going to look towards the run here. Fairmont showing 5 rushing.
Fancher back to pass, going to throw a bullet to the outside. It is incomplete, intended to number 6, Brendan Hill. And just like that, it's 3rd and 11 for the Warriors, and you cannot give the Fairmont the ball back with 5.5 minutes left.
And Jared, you see an open curl. I think it was a mistake by Hill and Fancher, but mistakes are really defining this game.
3rd and 11 here from the 12-yard line for the Warriors.
Both sides are going, Jared. You can feel this crowd's animosity.
Fancher back to pass. Fancher's going to throw it in the middle of the field, and it is incomplete.
No flag on the play. I felt like Mukes was going to get up and try to call Caleb Young for the early anticipation, but you see Mukes at the top of your screen. Fancher's already eyeing him all the way through. Telegraph that play.
And that one went right through the hands. Mukes has got to come up with that one for the Warriors. Now Wayne is punting back to Fairmont with 5.5 minutes left, and Baker is standing at the 40-yard line. Fairmont can easily run this one out and get it on a walk-off field goal or a touchdown.
And you got to think this gives Miller so much confidence.
Punt is a side, and it's going to go, or it's going to be down to about the 45.
Exactly. To the 45-yard line.
So Fairmont's going to take over at plus 45 with 5 minutes and 19 seconds. They're not worried about the timeouts, but it's 3-2 in favor of the Firebirds. But Fairmont's looking to take 5 minutes and 18 seconds off this clock on this drive.
And Jared, these situations right here are why we love this game so much. High school football, despite all the mistakes, despite this team's record, it comes down to this drive right now.
Fairmont, I think they're going to take a delay a game there. So it's going to be 1st and 15. So now this is a little bit more troublesome for the Firebirds.
You know, what's crazy is we didn't even know that the play clock was run. Do you think? I think it might have been a miscommunication there on the field, no doubt.
There has been some issues between the field and the clock operator tonight.
For sure. One receiver to the top.
Hillen is going to, oh, he did hand it off
Yeah,
to Gant, I believe.
we've seen a couple of those define the Fairmont's offensive drives tonight, whether or not Hillen makes the right decision.
I saw the 2 linemen for the Warriors continue to tackle on Hillen. I was worried. I was like, oh, another bad read. But only a gain of 2 for the Firebirds. Actually a gain of 3.
So a 2nd and 12. Fairmont will have to come up huge here.
Do we see one of these timed passes come out on this drive? Maybe.
You see Garrett Baker out there.
And Hillen hands off, and he might get back to the original line of scrimmage.
And I don't even think that, Jared. It'll probably be 3rd and 12 here.
So a gain of 1 on the play.
So Gant will go out. Trey Baker will come in.
Fairmont does not have 3rd and 11 plays in their playbook, so it's going to be interesting to see what the Firebirds call here with 4 minutes left in the game.
Well, I guarantee you the defense is watching the pass here no matter what.
And Fairmont jumped too early. It's going to be a false start, so 3rd and 11 turns into 3rd and 16.
You haven't seen these crucial mistakes the past couple of weeks. Fairmont has been capitalizing at full capacity, and they really haven't made these kinds of fumbles and miscues, but here we go. Once again, penalty was on 42, Trey Baker. So 3rd and 16, and if they don't have 3rd and 11 in their playbook, you can bet you they don't have 3rd and 16, Jared.
Fairmont is going to have 3 receivers set, something you've never seen, and a fumble by the Firebirds, and let's see, I think Hillen landed on it.
And that is a mess right there, Jared. A complete mess. As I don't think their center's used to running shotgun, to be honest.
Right, I believe the whole time we announced games while Braden Miller was here, I think he went in shotgun once.
Maybe, if that.
4th and a quarter of the field here. And Wayne doesn't take a timeout to preserve time, so they're going to let Fairmont run this down. 16 seconds on the play clock.
And I think this is way more important for Wayne here than Fairmont. Snodgrass on the punt, and that's a pop fly, Jared.
And it's going to bounce out at probably the 41.
And either we've seen Snodgrass get it about 35 yards or we've seen him get it about 15,
yards.
Yeah. So
and bad time for one of your worst punts of the season to come on.
In a huge game, as you mentioned earlier this week to me, Jared, Fairmont can still make the playoffs as a low seed.
Both teams still mathematically have a shot, but one of the dreams will end tonight with whoever loses. Wayne takes over. 2:46 left in the regulation at the 40.
The offense on number 1, Cam Fancher's shoulders. Can he execute in the most important drive of the season?
Fancher is going to hand off to Dorsey. Dorsey cuts it through. Dorsey's at midfield and across midfield into Firebirds territory. And with one play, the Warriors are looking at positive field position. And it only took 5 seconds left, or 5 seconds off the clock.
The home run back comes up big once again. Tyler Dorsey, huge run.
Fancher back to pass, looks to the far sideline, and Fancher skips it to Mukes.
And another time, Fancher has come up short tonight in a huge moment. Had the momentum, crowd pumped up, and just a dud. One of the worst throws of the night so far. Fancher will try to shake it off here.
Fancher will line up in shotgun. Now he's going to go back under center. to maybe direct traffic or something.
3 receivers now.
Fancher's going to hand off to Dorsey. Dorsey is going to be tackled, maybe a gain of 1 or 2 on the play. So a big third down coming up as we approach 2:15 left in the game.
Let's see if the Fairmont Firebirds clamp up their secondary here. This one will almost most definitely be a pass, Jared, but you cannot count out Cam Fancher's legs. They have proven him. They have proven to be dangerous tonight.
3rd and 8, under 2 minutes left to go in the ball game. Warriors looking to convert.
Look for number 42, Trey Baker, to be the spy here. Delayed blitz from Fairmont.
Fancher's going to keep it and roll to the right. Throws it in the middle of the field, and it is incomplete. Intended to, I believe, number 11 for the Warriors.
Number 18.
Or number 18, Mullins.
And another off throw tonight. At least that one was on the run, Jared.
And it looks like Wayne's going to keep the offense out on the field. Fancher's still on the field.
Here you see on the MVCC Game of the Week replay, play action, perfect rollout. Distribute his body weight and just cannot get it. Cam Fancher comes up short once again, but here we go, the game in the grips. 141, and I'm assuming this timeout means that Wayne is going to end up going for it.
Think about it, or at least talk about it. 141 left. Wayne calls it second timeout of the half.
Well, Jared, you're a first-year head coach in one of the most successful programs and the most successful program in conference history. Huge game, 2-5. You ain't got nothing to lose. I say you go for it.
Yeah, 2-5 rivalry game here. I think, especially with calling that timeout, I almost assume Wayne is probably going to look to go for it, or at least try and draw something up, maybe draw him off sides, get him to jump, maybe make it 4th and 3 instead of 4th and 8.
And it's not the same as if you were going up for it against Springboro or Centerville. You're going up against a triple option offense. You can still allow them to get the ball back and have some confidence that you're going to be able to gum away this game.
And Fancher's going to stay on the field, and the offense is going to go for it, 4th and 8. Fancher is actually going to drop punt, and it's going to bounce at the 10, and it's going to bounce back out to the 12.
And Jared, that was honestly some of the best things, one of the best things they could have gotten.
So Fairmont's going to take over 1:34 and 3 timeouts. What do we expect the Firebirds to do here?
I think Dave Miller's completely okay with going to overtime right here.
1.5 minutes and 3 timeouts. I mean, we'll almost for sure tell on the first play of this drive, but maybe he takes it. I mean, hell, he's 2-5 too.
I'm expecting at least 2 passes here, Jared, but can we compliment Roosevelt Muke's strategy and that staff over there? That drop punt was beautiful. One receiver line to the top of your screen. We'll see what Fairmont can do with 1 possession left in this game.
Baker in the backfield. Hillen's going to hand it off to Baker, and he gains about 2 on the play. And then with this lack of urgency from the Firebirds, it looks like they're going to be content going into overtime, our first overtime game of the year, most likely.
Yeah, for
unless
sure.
Fairmont pulls out one of its surprise aerial attacks.
Well, I'm guessing at least 1 pass here. I wouldn't put it past them, but at the same time, you have to weigh how much would a mistake cost you here. So I think Dave Miller is a one of fundamentals, and I think he's definitely going to take that into account here.
55 seconds left and counting. Play clock's down to 5. Hillen's going to hand it off to Baker, and he's going to fight for about, well, maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe +1.
Yep, so I'm going to guess Miller's over there like, hold on to the ball. We're going to OT.
And Wayne is going to take its final timeout and make the Firebirds hike this one more time.
Interesting, Jared.
I think that's just Wayne thinking like, okay, well, if they hike it one more time, maybe one more
shot for a fumble.
One more opportunity for a miscue for the Firebirds.
Definitely like the on-the-feet thinking.
And if I'm Fairmont and I'm Miller, take the knee. Take the knee, go into overtime. So Warriors timeout with 37 seconds left on the clock for regulation. We're looking at probably an overtime between these two. So 3rd and 7 at the 14 for the Firebirds.
30 seconds left. And Jared, after 5 weeks of blowouts, 3 weeks in a row of barn burners, you gotta enjoy it. With one more play.
And Hill, and they're going to look like they're going to line up in victory formation.
Yeah, they have no problem sending this thing to OT.
And Hillen is just going to keep it.
He's not even going to pitch it back, Jared.
No, I think he was getting out enough to where they wouldn't have to hike it again.
Yep, Fairmont is definitely going to take this one to overtime.
So it's our first overtime game in a little bit over a year between the two of us. And if whoever wins the coin toss, you got to go on defense first.
Interesting.
Because you at least get the ball. I mean, each team will possess it once. So I'd rather, if I give up the touchdown, I at least know I have to go for the touchdown.
Here we go, the end of regulation.
Free football here on a Friday night in mid-October. Can't get any better than this.
Seeing these two teams in overtime, Jared, is going to be a treat. They've both made their fair share of mistakes. They both have young cores. They are both loaded with talent.
Now we're going to go to midfield to see who is going to win the coin toss.
This is honestly the most important coin toss we've seen all year. No doubt about that one. Both respective huddles will return to the sideline, and the captains will get ready to come out. See the Wayne captains line up. You see Trey Baker line up.
So, I mean, do you have any strategy? You go in calling heads or tails into this one? I mean, you know the saying tails never fails.
Yeah, I don't trust that. I throw all sayings out of the window when you go into overtime football. There's some of the most intense situations these young men will ever run into in their entire lives. Got an eternal conference rival going on, 7-7. The playoff hopes hang on the clothesline.
And something I was going to say, but Miller coming into this game, Miller is virtually, you can call him the streak ender. He ended the losing streak against Alter. He ended the losing streak against Centerville. One more notch can he lose or end the losing streak to Wayne. It's been since 2018 when they first, or 2008, the last time the Firebirds beat him. So going on 11 years, let's see if the Firebirds can prevail in this overtime.
We see the coin toss in front of us. Jacob Padilla, Devin Nelson, Austin Mullins, and RJ Moops in there for Lane. You see Danielson, Evan Overholzer, Garrett Baker, and Trey Baker in there for Fairmont. And Fairmont will kick the ball.
And it looks like they're going to kick towards the Fairmont band, I believe. So So here we go. Throw out all the stats from the regulation for football. This one, you start at the 20 and you got 20 yards and 4 plays to do it.
Cam Fancher gets more opportunities for redemption. He has had a dismal regulation other than a huge play. Getting kind of chilly out there on this Friday night in Kettering, Ohio. So Wayne will bring out the receiving team. You see a resurgence in enthusiasm from both sidelines.
I think the PA announcer said it wrong. Fairmont has the ball to start. That's Wayne's defense out there.
Wow.
Yeah. So Fairmont got to pick what end zone they're going to go against.
So Fairmont is going to receive and trust their defense to stop Wayne.
So Fairmont will have 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line in overtime number 1. Hillen's going to go back to pass. He throws it in the middle of the field, and it's incomplete. And it's still incomplete, bobbled in the air.
That was so close, Jared. Rich Thompson on that play. And they wait till overtime to break out the pass. And finally, we see a Malik Hillen miscue. So all year, he has been very composed going into the air, but this week, not so much on his 2nd attempt.
2nd and 10 from the 20. Hillen's going to pitch it out to Grant to get to the edge, and Gant will be tackled at about the 17.
So the first 2 plays are perfection for the Wayne Warriors. That's exactly what they wanted. You want Fairmont on 3rd and long. You want to force number 4 to throw that ball as they did on the first play, but
3rd and 7 from the 17. And you hear both sides get up and get loud for this 3rd down play for the Firebirds. Hillen's going to run right up the middle and stays in the middle of the field, and you could assume that one might just be setting up hold for the field goal.
And they haven't had that much success this year in the red zone with field goals, Jared. They haven't attempted one all year. Will Holt and Justin Toll.
4th and 3, and the Firebirds are going to keep their offense on the field.
Trying to get 4th down manageable, but here 4th down is.
And the refs stop play, I think.
Timeout for Miller.
Fairmont just calls its only timeout for overtime. If they can get to the second one, they'll get another one back, but 4th and 3 overtime.
Last week,
I at least take the shot at the field goal.
Well, last week, Fairmont was so clutch in these types of moments. This week hasn't been the same story, Jared, but I feel like Miller's going to go out there and trust his guys. This is a very young team, but I feel like he's going to trust them to prevail, and especially since they haven't taken a field goal all year. So, granted, they have Will Holt, but he is a freshman kicker. They're starting to develop him. I don't think they're confident with trusting him with this kind of pressure.
Fairmont definitely brings out the tonnage, and they are going to go for the field goal. All eyes are going to be on number 16, Will Holt.
I don't know about putting this kind of pressure on a freshman kicker, Jared, but here we are.
It's going to be about a 30-yard field goal.
This young man has the game in his hands.
Snap, high snap, kick is up, and kick is no good. Wayne's defense comes up. That one was just a little bit short, and now Wayne can easily just walk this one in. They'll start at the 20-yard line.
Just an overall shaky decision from the Fairmont Firebirds, trusting their freshman kicker, Will Holt. But now Wayne gets the ball, and Cam Fancher has the game in his hands now. We haven't seen him perform good under pressure tonight, Jared, but overtime is a completely different story.
Fancher going to be in the backfield with both running backs to his side. He's going to hand off to Dorsey. Dorsey cuts it back in. Dorsey makes it move, and he is down to the 3.
Barely any resistance, and that's the home run hitter. We were talking about him earlier. Tyler Dorsey comes in clutch once again.
Wayne quickly back up to the line. Dorsey's going to get the handoff. Dorsey runs in, and he is tackled at about the 1.
So a second down and goal from the last 2 plays I've seen, Jared. It does not look like Fairmont is equipped to handle this Wayne front. They're going to keep the same formation. 3 receivers, Nelson and Dorsey besides Fancher.
Second and goal from the 1 here in overtime. Fancher's going to take it, and Fancher does not get it.
And that's going to be a touchdown, Jared. He reached out at the last second, and Wayne takes this one back to Huber Heights.
Wayne wins on a 1-yard run by Cam Fancher. Stuns the Firebirds, and Wayne is going to come back from a 7-0 deficit to win.
And what a performance it was tonight by Tyler Dorsey. He stepped in clutch. We saw the big play from Fancher. We saw the big play from Mullins, but how about Tyler Dorsey overall?
Here you go, your game-winning play right here. Fancher reaches out and barely gets it into the end zone. So Wayne will win 13-7 in overtime here at Roush Stadium for our MVCC Game of the Week for week number 8. We'll be back at it for week number 9 as the Trotwood Madison Rams will take on the Springboro Panthers down at Care Flight Field in Springboro next week. For the rest of the Miami Valley Communications crew, Jared Bergstrom and Jeff Allen.
That's all, folks.
Like camera 1.
Quick slant out. And another incomplete pass intended there to Jake Kenner.
If you're the Eagles, you have to get up on this defensive play and force the quarterback to make an error.
Excellent. You got the ball in, nicely done. Pretty three, go to 3.
By Bell. Bell breaks 2 tackles.
It's all you 3,
Bell's
nicely
out.
done.
Oh,
Oh,
Bell
he should have
picked up
stayed
a
there.
flag.
Keep falling them back 3.